Hello, and welcome to Perspectives, where we take a deep dive into the issues of the day and where we take a look at people's opinion on such issues. I am Ruth Osime.
And I am Majekodunmi-Oniru. Here today for another timely episode of Perspectives. We will be discussing Nigeria's current elections with two special guests joining us to dissect how the youth feel and what we should expect from the electoral process and from governance moving forward. Stay tuned.
Today we will talk about the audacity of the third force, a movement unprecedented in the history of Nigeria's presidential elections. No one was prepared for it. Not even the crusader of the movement itself knew what impact it will have. Peter Obi, candidate of the Labour Party, galvanized young voters who see him as the messiah to Nigeria's engulfing problems. After the presidential election process, which was seen as a sham and terribly flawed, it was concluded that the result was a selection of a preferred candidate chosen by INEC and not the election of the people. Due to this outcome, the voices of the obedience against this choice remains at its highest decibel, drowning political might. Peter Obi, their preferred candidate, in his defiance, has assured Nigerians that they would explore all legal and peaceful options to reclaim their mandate. Today, regardless of what the results say, he remains the hero of the moment. Just like Princess Diana, who though never became the Queen of England, remains a queen of people's hearts to date. On the other hand, President-elect, the Jagaban, the city boy, and the patriarch of Lagos politics, Ahmed Bola Tinubu, is undoubtedly one of the most influential and astute politicians in Nigerian history, and arguably the most controversial. His appeal to his fellow contestants to collectively support him and build Nigeria together at this point sounds to his rivals like pulling teeth with a crowbar. But as we all know with Nigerian politics, there are no permanent friends, no permanent foes, but permanent frenemies. This crystal ball is still yet to reveal how events would unfold. Today, after so many views aired from all angles, we want to probe the youth further, to feel their pulse on the events so far and see where they stand. Are they willing to give peace a chance and work with the chosen candidate, or doggedly fight for the candidate of their choice?
Very well said. Election season is upon us, a critical point in time to achieve progress in a nation that desires a new direction to strengthen collective hope, peace, and unity. In the course of Nigeria's most important elections, we need to understand the perspectives of the youth, who make up over 60% of the nation's population. Are young Nigerians elated? Or are we expecting another wave of Japa emigration? We know how very important leadership is to Nigeria's past, Nigeria's present, and Nigeria's future. We also know how very important it is to elect the most ethical, humane, healthy, accomplished, capable, and progressive citizens. Most especially now, when poverty is at an all-time high. Commendably, millions of Nigerians, some flying in from the diaspora, trooped out on the 25th of February 2023 to vote in an election that was expected to be mostly free, fair, and progressive, with advanced technology transmitting results instantly. After a long weekend of determination and pictorial and video evidences, what has emerged? What percentage of voters successfully voted accountably? What do we expect of the upcoming governorship and state assembly elections? Are emerging electees capable of pivoting the giant of Africa? Are we guaranteed a unifying system of checks and balances and altruistic policies? The nation at large desires leaders strongly capable of enabling a circular economy with innovative and ethical financial practices that can propel every single citizen to realize economic, environmental, and societal ambitions, Nigeria is at her highest potential point for progress because change comes when all seems bleak or bleakest. We will have our usual discussion shortly, but for right now, let's watch this special report. Perspectives will be right back.
The conversation around the conduct of the presidential election last Saturday is one that will not die down easily, as some parties have expressed dissatisfaction with the electoral process. The candidate of the All Progressive Congress, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, was declared the president-elect after he polled 8,794,726 votes to win the presidential election. Tinubu won the election ahead of other contenders, the People's Democratic Party candidate Atiku Abubakar, Labour Party candidate Peter Obi, and the New Nigeria People's Party candidate Rabiu Kwakwaso. The opposition People's Democratic Party and Labour Party have stated that they will head to court to pursue justice and challenge the results. However, the display of the Labour Party is one that needs to be commended, having put up a good fight against the All Progressives Congress and the People's Democratic Party, the two leading parties in Nigeria. Obi, who was considered an underdog in the election, came third and got over 6 million votes in his first attempt contesting for the number one seat in Nigerian politics, just as the president-elect Bola Ahmed Tinubu of the APC. But now that Bola Ahmed Tinubu has won the election, with all his proposed plans for the youth in Nigeria, the youth would be looking forward to his first steps as president when he assumes office and what to expect from him as president. Kenna Kingsley, Arise News.
Onigbinde is an accomplished professional as the co-founder and global director of Budge It, an organization that supports over 45 public institutions with a reach of over 12 million Nigerians. Oluseun has been recognized for his work with many prestigious awards, including Future Africa Awards and Quartz Africa 30 Innovators Award, amongst others. His expertise in social entrepreneurship as a Knight Innovation Fellow at International Center for Journalists and Gates Foundation gave him room for rethinking health in journalism in Nigeria. Aside from working on various projects, he has completed an executive education program at Stanford University, Graduate School of Business on social entrepreneurship as part of the Obama Foundation Scholarship Program. Also at Columbia University, Onigbinde continues to make invaluable contributions towards development through technology and innovation within Nigeria.
Sharon is being joined on our panel by Adeniola Odugbeson Thomas, more popularly known as Daring from downtown Lagos, or Isaleko, a Lagos-based fashion influencer, commentator, and strategist who has made a name for herself with not only her style, but wielding her influence for civic participation. Over the years, she has become a relentless advocate, pushing her peers to participate in the electoral process, to hold public officers accountable, to criticize the state of affairs and demand change. She has been especially vocal in this election circle on educating and informing young Nigerians about their powers to vote, influencing her large following to register for their voter card to make their voices heard at the ballot. She went viral a few years ago for publicly and heatedly questioning then gubernatorial aspirant and current governor of Lagos State, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, on his campaign promises and plans for Lagos State. Great to have you both with us.
Welcome to Perspective.
Thank you for having
Why
us.
today is going to be exciting is that we had insisted that we wanted to get people in their 30s. I'm assuming
38.
Okay, so you fall in. Now, I was having an argument with my co-host, or not necessarily an argument, but my view was really, if the elections had been free and fair, would the numbers have really changed that much? And then besides, we all know that INEC failed woefully. It didn't reflect what we expected to reflect in terms of performance and what have you. So now with this at hand, is this going to even create more voter apathy amongst you youths when it comes to the gubernatorial elections? Has it put you off?
I don't think so.
I think we have to take the silver lining here because if you look at the map, the presidential election map, to some certain extent, it reflected most of the polling estimates. It reflected what people thought would happen. Obi had a lot of strength in the southeast. That was very evident. He had also had strength in south-south. I mean, the Rivers election, I think that's a very huge sham. Also in Benue and Plateau.
What do you think is a huge sham? His
results in
Rivers.
His results in Rivers.
Whose result was a sham?
The winner, I mean, the APC said APC won Rivers, but there's significant evidence is that
that the results was a sham.
That the results were not true.
Okay.
And also, if you look at what he did in the Plateau and Benue, and showed a bit of strength. But I feel that the INEC first did not allow credibility in this process. And it's not just about who won. The process has to be proper. We've been running elections since 1999. We can't keep collating election results this way and expect people to trust in it. I feel a lot of people will still come out again for the governorship.
You don't think they'll be discouraged?
I don't think so. I feel people want to make a stamp again. And I think they'll be more coordinated against INEC.
You think INEC would be more diligent this time because they have a point to prove?
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think
You don't think so? No. Why don't you think so?
I just feel like...
You think they'll perform it the same way they performed the first one?
Yeah, they're going to do exactly the same thing that they've done this time. And not address it like they've also done. Because regardless of everything everybody has said, they haven't come forward to even address any of these things people have said. You cannot expect that after you consistently told us building up to the election day that it was going to be this, we're going to have the biometrics thing, and then you don't do it, and then you still carry on. People are still complaining, and you carry on with the collation of the results that same way, almost like you have no regards for us.
Rather than complaining, what do you think the youth can do between now and the elections to demand ethics from INEC?
There has to be some rigor around the collation process.
There has to be some what?
Rigor around the collation process. You can't just vote and just go home. And I think that's what it has to become. Citizens have to figure out a way to protect their votes.
No, but now you can't say that as well because people did that. I said at my point to the end, they voted. They counted the votes. They uploaded it. Exactly. A lot of people also experienced that. So what do you say? Because I know for a fact that the rigging doesn't happen at the polling units. So do you expect us to follow them to
collation centers?
Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
No, but my point is that even if
60, 80 people at the collation center. How many? Because see, we did track this election at every LGA collation center, and the turnaround time was very, very slow. And why? Two things happened. INEC sometimes will change the venue of the collation center.
Last minute.
Or sometimes the ward collation officer does not even show up at all. So you even have PU officers just stranded at the collation center because they can't deliver their document to anyone. And somebody might just show up and say, drop it here, we'll continue tomorrow morning. And by the time you come back the next morning, numbers have changed. Yeah. Even if you upload the document on IRF, it doesn't mean
that is to stay there.
That your numbers add up at the end of the day.
No, but what I want to ask, in that collation center, who are the people there? Are the press allowed in? To watch the process.
The agents of the political parties
has an agent
should be there.
Yeah, but even that itself is not good enough. Why don't you get neutral parties? Like the press, for instance.
They have international observers that still come to.
Are they in the collation center though?
They are allowed, but most of the time they are thrown out.
But isn't that where the supposed fraud occurs? This collation center.
That's what I'm saying.
Simply, before the collation
if Nigerians want their votes to be protected, let them go and keep a watch at the collation centers.
No, but they might not be allowed into the
collation centers. Need to be allowed.
No, but somebody has to be inside.
Yes, so
neutral party.
So if our agent, if for example I'm voting for Boots Party, yes, exactly, and my agent is sitting inside the collation center. And we know that once we know that it's thrown out of that, because I'm an agent, sometimes even the agent is at the collation center and nothing happens.
But like we saw happen a week ago. Sometimes they are not collating at the collation center. They're actually announcing predetermined results at the collation center.
That's what I'm saying, that at the collation center, the Nigerians must be able to build a system that can flag.
Okay, you're an IT person. What would you advise?
If for the same way I do advise, I would build a check-in kind of app. And this is a simple app.
How does that work?
I get a collation center, I stay there, and I check in. 50 of us were voted. We check in there that we are waiting at the collation center. strength. There has to be strength in numbers.
It has to be strength in
If
numbers.
5-6 people go to a collation center, they would use guns and chase them away. Police will say, leave this place.
So who
But
will these 50 people be,
So
for instance?
if I finish voting, we go to the collation center and stay
You
there.
as a voter?
Yes.
But it won't take all of you now. The voters have...
You don't need to be inside the room.
But is it not inside the room the action happens?
Our agent is inside the room.
Okay.
Our agent must trust that our agents, when the numbers are being added, has our best interest at heart. Once our agent is inside the room, if they throw out our agent or they say, oh, we are not collating anymore, and we know that there is problem.
But by the time you get to the collation center, you already know the results.
Yes, that's what I'm saying to you.
So
that
you expect that when they get to the collation center, the result tallies with the
With
result.
what
exactly.
everybody has.
Exactly. Because now, even if all of us, if we 5 of us, and this thing is, this is a situation I'm saying because INEC has damaged trust significantly in this election.
They have.
Yes.
Because they sold it to us that it's no-brainer. I finished voting in Lekki by 3:30.
How long, by the way, did it take for you to...
Our polling officer came very late. She came around 12:25. So we voted around 3:30. I went home. I came back around 6:30 and the numbers were read. Labour Party won my polling unit. Then after then, I still went online to check, to be honest with you. The results are actual, is what exactly is on IRF number. Did it count in the collation? I don't know, because I've not sat down to add up everything unit by unit. Because even if you upload on IRF, I will sure it is what was uploaded on IRF was what was used in collation. That's why I say that INEC has to be more open with the word collation process. Because I don't believe a lot of...
It's supposed to be digitally transmitted.
That's what I was
We're
just going
supposed to be
say.
seeing it on a
why
screen
am I not
across the
voting?
entire
Why am I
country.
not voting and seeing it count?
It's supposed to be counting
Like,
automatically,
do you
and it's
understand?
not rocket science.
It's not
Other
so
countries have
hard.
done this.
It's a big
We should
one.
all be able to log into
INEC
INEC.
get this done. Literally, you give a first class computer science student Unilag these projects that will give you X amount of money. Trust me, they don't even need 10% of that amount that they give.
I mean, 300
and they will bring out an app
we spent on
that
this
you will
process.
vote, and literally your vote will count, and you'll be seeing everybody's on Labour Party increasing, this increasing. But instead, we're here still counting paper. 1, 2. How are we doing this in 20?
I think so. Why a lot of things won't change gubernatorial is that there's a fundamental flaw with INEC in several ways.
Yes, because INEC is not independent
Yeah.
to begin with.
The downstream workers of INEC, the ad hoc staff, somehow I feel personally that's been captured.
But I
by
thought they were
political
trained. I thought they went for training for this particular...
How are
What did they
how
do
are
with that
recruited? My question is, how are INEC ad hoc staff recruited? Who puts them there?
Who puts them there?
Yeah,
Okay.
a lot of questions that if we don't
many
fix
things.
them
Let me
fundamentally,
give you an example of my polling
we
unit.
can't change it.
So the girl did really well. She came really early. Like the copper that was like our...
Okay, the INEC rep?
Yes.
Okay.
She didn't know the parties. She didn't know
What
like
do you mean she didn't know the parties?
like the ballots, right? She was
Uh-huh.
counting the votes, and she would see A, and she would say, like she didn't know anything apart from
But I don't understand,
PDP.
the ballots have their
Apart from
names
so a
and
lot
their-
of the ballots
Okay.
don't actually carry names. It carries their logos.
The logo.
So she would, apart from PDP, APC, and Labour, the rest of them, even Labour, she wasn't sure what Labour was. So
But those
she
banners
had to
should have
keep
carried
asking
names,
everybody
though.
because while she was counting, that sorry, she
Are
turned
you
out as a
serious?
chicken party, and I think literally what she was doing, they don't have a clue. I don't know where they find them, but they have no clue about. At the end of the day, all you need to do is just teach them, train them. Few days before, we've had how many years build up before this election, and they were here.
But with this in mind now, does that mean that you have no face in the the next upcoming elections?
There's-
Me, as if, sorry, I have faith. I would always have faith. I've been voting since I can remember. And I've always been unhappy with the results. But I feel like because of my love for the country, I will still keep going. I feel like if we slow down, which will take us back another couple of years.
Yes.
A lot of times also we don't necessarily have to, the results, the end might not justify the means or something like that, but if you keep pushing, at some point, I know it's tiring, you know, people came out, we were gingered, oh my God, we want him, we want PO, we want, I get that, but we cannot now say, oh, because it's going like this, we should now just say, oh, I'm not, which I know a lot of people, as much as I know people are coming out to vote, I know a lot of people are also not going to come out to vote because they feel like whatever, my vote does not count, but your vote does count, and you can see it with the results, because we've never had this amount of people actually come out to vote, like, I expected it, but I didn't expect the magnitude of people that actually came out to vote. It's beautiful to see. I feel like next week
It is
Saturday,
beautiful to
I mean,
see.
it's actually
But
beautiful to see.
now that you mentioned that, I remember last time was on air, I was talking to Kadaria. She did say that the turnout, because obviously the amount of people that vote and the people that come out to actually physically do it. The people that register and those that come out to vote are never the same.
No.
And apparently the percentage of the people that came out this time around was lower.
Yeah. I don't, to be fair, I'm not sure if that is accurate. I don't think that is accurate because I vote every 4 years. I'm very sure that even at my polling unit, the people that came out last week, half of them I have never seen them before voting. Okay. And I'm very popular at my polling unit. So I feel like, I don't think those numbers are accurate, which I'm sure that there's some here and there mix up or whatever, but I know that we just need to keep pushing. We will be moving forward. Yes. We will start to begin to have almost the same amount of people that registered maybe not to vote. Because but my point is, like I was saying to my co-host, that we don't know what the end results of this debacle will be between Peter Obi insisting on his mandate or President-elect Bola Tinubu being sworn in as president. Now, in moving forward, should things not change, and Tinubu was sitting right in front of you now, President-elect Tinubu was sitting right in front of you now, what would you say to him? I'll ask you first, Dave. Honestly, if I was sitting in front of him now, what do you think he can do to bridge the gap? What do you think he can do to the only thing he can do is to, if he loves Nigeria as he claims, if this is maybe, which I don't think is going to obviously happen, but if you love Nigeria as you claim, right, it is not rocket science. People do not like you. People do not like you. How about you just say you want to have a runoff election? Okay, that's
and give us a free and fair one.
Yeah. Although on the other side, which I know is not going to happen, I feel like we also just need to, because this is where we are. There's no, I don't know what is going to come of all this going to court and stuff, but I think that we also need to look forward. What do you think of Tinubu himself as a politician? Personally? Yes. Okay. I think that he's probably the best politician Nigeria has ever produced, ever. I honestly believe it is a big deal what he has been able to accomplish, being a Yoruba president after Obasanjo is such a long time, to be honest. I actually believe that. But I also think that he has so much, he has so much wrong that I cannot see the good that he can do or the good that he is. I can't, unfortunately, I cannot see it. You know, he's old, he's sick. And I understand that we said this because when I say that, people say, oh, was Buhari not sick when he started? And look at him now. Fair enough, he could get better. And some people will say, oh, yes, it's not like he's going to do every single thing himself. He's going to delegate. Fair. But then again, I don't want to have a president that I'm watching on TV and your words are jumbled. I don't want to have that. Why am I having a president that does not seem coherent? You know, I think if things were free and fair and he won, then maybe people might be a bit like, okay, you know, this is where we are, but it wasn't free and fair to start with, you know. So there's no, I don't know how we want to, like, paint a different picture from that. I don't know how you want people to take their focus out of the fact that the election wasn't free and fair. Normally, already, people do not like APC. That's not even we can already see that will happen with Banky. Left to me, I honestly feel like Banky is PDP. Yes, like, I'm just saying, like, you can use that as an example. People just did not, like, the anger, I feel like that was like a revenge kind of vote thing. For me, I feel like Banky should have honestly won that position. But half of the people that voted, they don't even know who was on Labour Party's ticket. You know, so people are tired. So you think the Labour Party candidate won by virtue of circumstance? No, of course. I'm sure he himself knows that. I'm sure he also knows that. Of course. Yeah, he definitely. But Sheryl, you've been quiet. What is your take on this? On this Tinubu issue?
If I say him, and if it's in a scenario that he's a president-elect, and
we're just saying that's in case things don't change.
And things don't change. I will anchor 4 things for him. Okay. One, and I will pick it from what the opponents represented. Fiscal discipline. Obi was huge on the fact that we can't continue to be wasteful. We can't continue to treat public resource like a personal stash. We need to be very responsible with public resources. So if there's anything he should have to keep it hold on and grab very well, fiscal discipline. Productivity. Obi was also big on the fact that we have to be a productive economy. We can't just be an economy that consumes. And I've always said this, we must be an economy that produces for the world. Our growth and our opportunity to change the economy lies in an export-driven economy. And so he has to borrow that idea. On Atiku's side, it was big on the fact that private sector has to take leadership in being able to re-energize the economy. So whatever interventionist ideas he has, like we're going to print money, we're going to delink revenue from expenditure, he needs to rethink all of that and allow the private sector to drive the economy. And the fourth thing, which Atiku also mentioned a lot, I'm not saying that this is unity, and the fact that you have a chance to understand that we are quietly fragmenting, we are quietly losing it. So he has to, by perception, by reality, he has to show that he's a unifying leader. So I think those are the four key things I would tell him.
Okay, go on. Sorry.
But what do I think of him? I also don't feel that this is the right time for him to lead. Like Darren said, throughout the campaign, a lot of gaps, a lot of things that you were not saying that. We've been through Yaradua, we've been to Buhari. We're in a place where we need a leader where we are certain that he has the right capacity and the real frame of mind for this. But if this is how he ends at the end of the day, he has a chance to write his legacy, no matter how much reservation anybody has about him. He's offered another blank piece of paper now.
Yeah.
And he has to really think through around the culture, because I don't believe you vote in a leader. I believe you vote in systems. You vote in the people. When I see Tinubu, there's a kind of feeling people will have around him. Are you going to be a president that is just throwing money up and down? Are you just going to be a president that food is ready, let everybody come and eat? Are you going to be a president where it's just about public service and service alone? So he has his chance to write. I don't think he has the cleanest of records when people look at him through Lagos lens. It's worked for him politically. But a lot of people has a lot of conversations also around how that has, permeated some form of state capture. But this is his chance, if he generally gets the final nod, maybe Supreme Court puts him there finally, maybe rules over the case or whatever, to rewrite his own history, And I think he mentioned something similar like that when he was speaking at Majekodunmi-Oniru. I want to be president. I just don't want to be a footnote in history. He said it in Yoruba. So, it is his chance to look for people who can do it.
But he has also, I remember in his speech, invited the other contestants to work amiably with him, which I don't see that happening. It's like asking you to, remove your teeth with a crowbar, like I said earlier on. But given the chance, do you think that this is something that he can achieve in moving forward?
Like getting other parties to work with him?
Yeah, but getting somebody like a Peter Obi, for instance.
So calm down. Or just
to meet
accept.
together to see how they can collectively. We're assuming that if Peter Obi's situation
doesn't go as he wants.
Oh, do you foresee that? Do you see him and Peter Obi sitting down at some point?
It depends on what Peter Obi wants to do, but I don't vote brief for politicians. So, I don't think.
But if you were Tinubu, do you think that would be a good idea?
Yeah, it would be a good idea. If you have 8.7 million votes and your opponents, if you tally their numbers together, around 12.8 million votes, definitely you can't say you have a very strong mandate. More people voted against you than for you. So it's not like you have a very strong hand to wield. If you have an opportunity to get your political opponents to work with you, you take it. And Obasanjo also did. When he became president, he gave Bola Ige and some few people and the Haiti an opportunity to work in his government. So it's not like this is sounding very, very new. Jonathan, I think, even wanted to do something like that too. But it's something. And if it's Peter Obi, then he now is left on him. If he feels that structure, like I said, it will all depend around the kind of culture that Tinubu wants to build for himself. If Peter Obi feels that these are like-minded people that want to serve the country, not just want another story building in Dubai, not just another land in Ikoyi, and not just to make sure that they can buy another car for their girlfriend. If the people in there and the culture is about people who want to serve, yes, you might consider. So it's there for Tinubu as he's building his team, as he's building his structures to really ask ourselves, who really wants to serve Nigeria? Because we do the numbers and budget. Nigeria does not have luxury for profligacy and for wastefulness anymore. We don't. We are not optimizing what we have, and we even need much more to change the country. So, and these were the central messages for Peter Obi.
Another thing I want to ask is that there's not that much faith in the system, in the legal system. As much as people are passionate about Peter Obi, as much as you would like to give a Peter Obi a chance, the truth of the matter is that will it really work in his favor? It's never happened in the history of Nigeria. So yes, I understand his plight. I understand his passion. I understand his pain. I mean, I don't know whether you guys saw him on TV when, you know, he broke down in tears. And that was the most endearing and the most moving, one of the moving incidents in Nigeria's political. Why are you doing your face like that? I said, he should be man enough.
No, not even that. I don't know.
Please don't go down. You think it was an act.
I don't
go there.
To be fair, I don't. I feel like I really like him, but that's crying on TV.
No, but it's painful.
No, trust. I don't think talking about a woman that was trying to bake.
Right.
And she was talking about a lady that he met.
Yeah, that couldn't buy an oven.
Said she couldn't buy an oven for 75,000. I don't
Right.
think that's
Rather than cry, give her that 75,000. Say, go ahead.
I don't think the story was so touching.
No,
but
the story is the loss.
But I think it was mixed emotions he was having.
It's his loss
from everything he had been through the
sorry,
election process.
And that was.
But I'm with you on that.
That I just do not.
No, I think, like she said, I think it was just an overwhelming feeling.
Mixed emotions at that point in time.
Everything that he had gone through, not just the woman. That woman was just the tip of the iceberg.
But of course, he has seen so much poverty. He's been governor for 8 years. He's been in Nigeria all his life. It's not a new thing.
Nobody should know now, David, that it wasn't about the woman and the stove.
No, I don't know.
It was much more about.
See, the thing for me is, at the end of the day, Peter Obi is a politician. I feel like we like Peter Obi, we love him, but let's also not try to think that he's Nigeria's messiah. He's not. I don't think anybody is Nigeria's messiah, because if I'm going to be very honest, Peter Obi had a chance to win this election landslide if he had just joined with one of the other two contestants.
Yeah, but they didn't give him a chance.
Because at the end of the day...
Because he wanted to appear, he wanted to run as president.
Why are they all trying to be number one? If you love Nigeria so much that Nigeria is what is foremost on your mind.
Okay.
Why can you not serve? Why can't you just do VP?
He should have been.
Why can't you do a VP and negotiate that in 4 years I'll be president?
At the end of the day, if you believe you are better than the other candidates and you believe you'll do a better job, you want to run for president.
You need to be in it first.
The thing about
you need to be in it first.
No, but let's
if you really wanted, if you are sure that Nigeria is
okay, let's take a quick break. Let's take a quick break because I like the angle that you're coming from. You know, we're heading for a short break, but stay with us. Perspectives will return in just a moment. Guys, you guys should have heard this argument now. It was heated. Yeah? Olatunde's cough was almost coming off. But Darren, you brought up a very interesting point, which you and Olatunde almost seem to fisticuffs over. You are saying that if Peter Obi's desire to become president of Nigeria in future, stepping down to become a vice president is just a sacrifice to pay to reach your achieved aim, right?
Yes.
But she, on the other hand, is saying that it was right for him to have come on and run as president from day one.
So I think that both of us are kind of right. So, of course, if you feel like every other person that you're with is incompetent, you want to do it yourself, fair enough. But let us not forget that Peter Obi was in PDP. It's 9 months ago. Yeah, so but at the end of the day,
and he wanted the presidential ticket.
At the end of the day, he definitely saw some potential for him to have been in that party for so long.
No, he might not have.
He just wanted to be
but he wanted to get the presidential ticket.
And he might not have lost the dream.
For the people, right?
Yes.
For Nigeria, right?
Yes.
I agree. And I totally love that. But at the end of the day, if you're for Nigeria, you want your end game is for Nigeria to be better, right? Peter Obi is a politician. He knows that he won't have gotten the northern votes. It is not rocket science. There was no pathway for Peter Obi. I voted for Peter Obi.
Impossible.
With the right strategies, he would win. Everything is numbers. Let's not say...
Another thing I want to ask is that vice presidency depends on how much power your president gives you.
Yes.
So in Peter Obi's case, even if he had decided that, okay, let me run with Atiku, would he have been a voiceless president? Because it all depends on the power that Atiku gives him.
I feel like what Darren is saying is this. Look at the opposition. They were heavily fragmented. And Kwankwaso 1.49 votes, Atiku among 6.7 votes, Obi 6.1 million votes. Put all of that together, you're talking around 14 million votes.
There was nothing about
that's the narrative they want you to say.
And the truth is this, and that's where I say that politics is about elite consensus. First thing, we know that this north-south thing is happening. So definitely this conversation means that the numbers have come back to the south. somebody might look at it from that angle. But someone also might look at it from another angle is that the first thing is that we want to punish APC, for just even like, we just don't want APC in
the
that
past 8
because
years.
8 years they have not done
Done
well.
anything.
Oh, come
That
on.
makes them, and I feel that that's what should have united the opposition
point.
more.
But my point, I'm
My
curious.
point,
I-
if bottom line was to get APC
Yeah,
out.
that's why we united
So
the
why not
opposition
just
more.
let all come
Okay, what
together
about
and get them
Kwakwanzo
out?
and Peter Obi? They are joined together.
Let me first say this.
those are the
Kwakwanzo would have
questions.
given Peter Obi the northern votes that he needed
That's what
because
I think
Kwakwanzo
so
just
too.
came
I
there to
think so
just
too.
destroy
If
it.
we just get APC out and we now get a president-elect that is not even capable of doing anything, if
Okay, but now let me
we're
ask
fixing
you,
the same
is that
process
not- okay,
back
but let
to
me ask
back,
you,
it
wait,
doesn't take us forward.
What? Explain that again.
If we're just trying to elect, just to get APC out, and we now elect a president that we all don't believe in, that is not the very best person for the job, we stay in status quo, we stay regressed. This thing is not rocket science. What we Nigerians argue every day about. It's giving headache. We're talking every day. We need the very best, most capable leader to take us forward.
But we're
If
saying
they're not
now-
capable,
but what
step
we're
aside.
saying-
This is not do or die.
but now
People
wait,
need to
wait,
stop
yeah,
going in
so
for
My
money
point is,
to serve the
if
nation.
Peter and Kwakwanzo had joined together as a force, I think they would have made a better impact. But who would have stepped down for who? Is my question.
Those were the questions, and that's why I'm
No,
saying
we
that,
don't step down
that's
for
why I
who?
said
Down
that
for
the
anybody.
opposition,
So it
the
goes
way they
back to
ran the
various-
election, they ran fully, mostly on the belief that they could all win.
Exactly.
And it's just like you want to take down an incumbent party, you can't afford to be fragmented. It's just as simple. If Kwankwaso and Obi had, well, I know clearly that Kwankwaso was offered a VP position. I'm very certain.
By which party?
But when he was in Labour, to
Okay.
come and be the VP party for Obi,
Labour.
when Obi won the Labour, and he refused. He refused.
That's also the
So-
personal thing
And
for
that's
me.
fine. You can refuse.
So-
There are
so-
other
Everybody, yes,
there are
of
200
course.
million people. There's somebody
So,
else.
and you want, and see, and we know, you see the spread. The strength Obi wanted much more, to give more push to his campaign was that he needed the northern votes to.
That's my
accompany him.
question. Do you think he would have won the northern votes?
Based on his way,
As popular as he is on the south, do you think he would have gotten
I don't,
those states?
I don't think, because see, when people talk about, you have to keep two ideas in your head at the same time. People talk about structure, and structure is also important. Because Nigeria is not an homogeneous environment. Let's not lie. The way people think in South is not the way people think in the North. It's not the way people think in Southwest. So let's not always try. So there are some places where traditional structures are what will determine how voting happens. And there's some people have much agency to decide that this is how we were going to go. So in some sort of way, he needed someone who was also like a popular figure in the North to accompany him.
Yep.
For
That's
this
how
time.
he and Kwakwanzo would have been the best.
And that's why maybe Kwankwaso could have helped him much more, give more. Because elections winning is also a feeling. When if Obi and Kwankwaso was there, a lot of people maybe that voted for Atiku would have felt,
Would have just felt, you
this
know what?
ticket is more stronger.
Let's go with them.
I'll go with him. So but I felt the opposition, they were too, I'm not saying that they were too fragmented and maybe everybody had have got belief that I could just win. But you could have just looked at me like, do you want to risk, the ruling party to win through this fragmentation? Maybe they could have come to a much more stronger consensus about what's our best foot forward in this situation.
I want to ask another question. Speaking of structure. Oh, he has no structure. He has no structure. He said the people were his structure. And let's face facts. Because of Obi, a lot of Labour Party candidates won their seats.
No, let's give
just
it to
because
Obi.
of the
You
movement.
can't even take it from Obi.
you
What he
can't
has
take
been
it
able
from
to
him.
do
No,
is something that I don't think anybody in Nigeria has ever been able to do.
done.
Well, it's the people. It's not Obi.
That's what we're saying.
It's definitely not just.
But you also agree that if it was, you
It's
think
the
if it wasn't
momentum.
Obi, if it was someone else, let's say it was just him, you think it would have made the same
I think that population that wanted change were just
have
going
still
to
voted
back
for
whoever they
whoever.
believed was
Yes,
best at that
fair
point in
enough. I
time.
agree.
No.
That answers
What Obi has
I
done,
agree.
and you have to give him kudos, what he has done in terms of igniting hope for a very large section of
It's a
Nigeria.
huge thing.
I don't think anybody has done it
Like,
since.
it
since,
amazed
since
me.
1979.
We all did
Like,
it. Nigerians
it
did that.
amazed me.
So
I don't
Yeah.
even think Obi himself.
Exactly. I put up something like that recently. I said,
Okay.
even Obi, I don't think he
I don't think
expected
he
this
really
outcome.
expected. But do you
I don't
think
think he did.
this happens because Nigerians were so hungry for a change? Because when we voted Buhari,
We were hungry.
we were hungry
hungrier.
for a change.
We're
But I
always-
think
we're
the
always
difference,
hungry.
We're always
no, but I also
hungry.
think, I also
Nigerians
think the
always
difference
hungry.
here is Obi's humility. He has sold that.
That's a good part of it.
I see your eyes there.
Yeah.
No, but he has sold
Yes,
that
he has.
image.
He's very relatable.
No,
You understand?
He sold himself
Which
well.
makes him extremely relatable.
He sold
Absolutely.
himself well. I mean, his perception, he sold his message, and you can see his message. Maybe not the soul.
He's also very passionate.
So silver bullet. But
So you can understand.
Yes, he's very passionate. You can tell that he's, you know.
Even when we were looking at the election, the voting process, when he went to go and vote, you could see that everybody else came with their entourage. Typical Obi, he was just there with his wife.
For those are the
waiting
things
for
that
his turn.
Nigerians like, Sha.
No, but is it because Nigerians
Like
want
what, the
somebody-
entourage or
No,
the...
people
No,
like,
they don't
they
like
like
the
people
entourage.
that are relatable.
That's
Like my guy.
That's how it's in every politics.
Yeah,
everywhere.
like people fall more for the guy next door. You know, like, oh, he's my.
And he has
see how
sold that thing
Yes,
to the
and
T.
it has worked for him.
He has
I don't know
sold his
if there's a
humility.
bit of an act in it.
No, I don't think so.
I don't think
He's
it's
very
an
humble.
argument. I think
He's
it's a-
humble, I
a very
agree,
humble
but
person.
also I feel like he knows that it is working for him.
No,
So-
but if you're humble, you're humble. You can't exactly change.
No, but that's who he has always. I've met with Obi, I think 3 or 4 times.
I know him personally. He has always been
that's
very
who he
humble.
is. No, he doesn't. I don't. He's not somebody with a lot of
I don't
air
even-
around him. He's just a very.
I don't even
easy
think you
person.
can act humility
No,
as well. You
humility.
can't. to a certain
It's who he
extent.
is. It's who he is. There are a lot of questions you might ask him to, but in the end, at the end of the day, you have to agree that what he has done,
It's
to be honest,
amazing.
is incredible.
But
Beautiful.
do you think this would not encourage other Obi-like people
To come out.
to
See,
come out?
For Obi represents something, fiscal discipline, much more like a service-oriented kind of thinking. But I don't think that's the sole solution to Nigeria's issue. I think also somebody that's able to bring ideas to the table. He did that well with his manifesto and all that. So I feel more people, it depends on if he continues that trajectory and he sees more people following that kind of momentum. A lot of Nigerians are going to warm up to that.
As we round up the show, what are your thoughts on uniting the nation? The top 3 candidates were Igbo, Hausa, Yoruba. And we're seeing all over social media how divisive certain citizens are in saying, oh, Igbos need to leave Lagos. How do you feel concerning this, and what can we do to unite?
You want me to start?
Yeah.
Representation is key. People want to see that. And I don't know, I do the math. So if a Yoruba man is president, he doesn't add a dime to my pockets.
Yeah.
It doesn't even mean I'm considered in any way as a special person. But we want that feeling. We must always understand that perception and reality are both important. So make sure that in how you appoint people and how you structure
It's
things,
diversity.
you show some level of diversity.
Thank
And also your language. Let your language be that of unify. And those who work for you. No, it's not going to be nice that people who are your spokesperson just come and just
Exactly.
talk loosely and tongue lash people. I just hope that we see a spokesperson for him or whoever comes on board as someone that
Thank
truly
you.
respects Nigeria.
Thank you so much, Sean. Thank you so much, Darren.
Thank you for having
It's been a very passionate debate, and I'm glad that we've listened to you and heard your very strong views. And we just hope that the best results is what we get for the way forward in Nigeria.
Thank you.
Okay? It can be argued that innovation comes from leaders with new ideas, developing new solutions to old problems. All candidates in their various positions should remember that there will be periods when discouragement is great and upsetting. When everything seems to be going against you, remember that the airplane takes off against the wind, not with it. You can't change the direction of the wind, but you can adjust your sails to reach your destination. That's all we have time for you today. And remember, life is a learning curve. You've been watching Perspectives here on Arise News with me, Ruth Osime.
And with me, Olatorera Majekodunmi-Oniru. As Nigeria proceeds onwards to conduct state elections, and as fragments of our nation find ways to justify or oppose the federal elections, let's keep in mind the importance of unity. I am Igbo, I am Hausa, I am Yoruba. I am of no tribe, I am of a lesser tribe. None of what I just said matters as much as our strength in unity. I remain a Nigerian with great hope for the potentials of our collective future. I look forward to the day we prioritize every citizen in a vibrant nation that unites with no respect to tribalism, classicism, and racism. Thank you so much for watching Perspectives. Thank you to all our guests today. Have a great weekend and see you all soon. Goodbye.